All right, the Padres have a tough question. This has to do with dollars and cents, John. The luxury tax threshold this year is $233 million. We're led to believe the Padres are within 3 to 4 million of the 233 top. If they go over 233, it would be the third year in a row that they exceeded the luxury tax, and you have to pay penalties. But if you go over this third time, John, you wind up paying 62% tax on anything above 233.
Mm-hmm.
And you lose international signing money, and you lose draft picks. Now, you can reset your club by staying under the luxury tax level this year, which would mean next year you could go back in and go over the top with minimal penalties. But because I've done it 3 years in a row, or will do it 3 years in a row, if they go over 233 million. So that's a big question. Are they willing to do this and forfeit draft picks and international money to go get the right player? They don't have a lot of budget space. They don't have a first baseman. They don't have a left fielder at this point. They have a question mark in center field. They have pitching depth. The only alternative, and this could happen this week, is you make a trade. And they have a lot of interest in Pittsburgh Pirate outfielder Brian Reynolds. I've been told the asking price is either Adrian Morejon or Ryan Weathers, the catcher Luis Campusano, and other prospects. Are the Padres willing to trade more young guys away to get this guy? Brian Reynolds' contract is very affordable, $6.7 million this year, probably $9 million next year in his final year of arbitration. Burning question. There's so many needs out there. There's so many players out there, but do they have the wherewithal or the change in corporate philosophy to make a deal of significance? They've been linked to Xander Bogaerts, who they've interviewed. They evidently touched bases with Trea Turner, although I think that's a reach to think that they could afford a guy that's going to demand $30 million per season. There are other guys out there that they could probably go after. So my question for you, Padre fan number one, do you think Peter Seidler should give A.J. Preller permission to take the credit card and go way over the $233 million deal? Or should they just try to get the right mid-level free agent? Or are you willing to trade more blue chip prospects, what's left in the farm system, to see if you can get Brian Reynolds out of Pittsburgh? It's your turn.
So Brian Reynolds would be an intriguing guy to have. Plays center field, he hits for power, but that doesn't solve the payroll situation. They still have those huge contracts. And I've been hearing, people talking about, well, maybe they need to trade Tatis or trade some of these big contracts. I don't know. I can't see that happening. So it seems to me that they can fill in with some mid-tier guys. But my understanding is that the Padres talked with Trea Turner twice. They had separate meetings with him. So they seem serious. Maybe they're just going to go all in because these are the years they have Soto.
Well, they've got a window. They have a window because of the young pitching. They have a window because of the older pitching. They don't have much time left on the clock. And then they have the window of Juan Soto for at least 2 more pennant races. That's a reach, though, because once you shoot through the 233 limit, then you're going to start paying real significant money, and you're losing this other stuff that keeps your organization going. Fascinating to see what they do there. There's an awful lot of mid-level guys that they could go get. And lost in the conversation, it's like getting Tatis back is like getting a big star off the free agent list.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to add him to the lineup. We don't know how really good this offense can be because we never saw Tatis with Machado and all these other guys that developed last season. Tough call. Peter Seidler, he's pushed all of his chips to the middle of the table. A.J. Preller, they gave him a blank check and he overspent it. I'll be fascinated to see what they do by Friday. But that's the storyline on the Padres. I think the tough decision they have to make as to how they're going to deal with free agency, or do they fix it or add to it by virtue of trades. Next team.